Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So my name is Sekai Tigeri and today I have an interesting guest. I'm so happy that you are here. So our guest today is Jito Kayumba, and Jito Kayumba is the partner at Kukula Capital and also a director on a few boards including Airtel and Zambian Breweries. Yes, I'm excited. So Jito Kayumba, thank you so much for this opportunity and for coming on the channel just to share some knowledge and drip with my followers. So Jito, I'm amazed at how you're always available with all these the schedules that you have, but you make time just to talk to young people, just to advise young people about life and the secrets to success and all these things. So thanks so much on behalf of the young people for doing that. So I know some of the things that you've been talking about on your Twitter are the 7 things. I think most people know you for the 7 things, and most recently we started talking about the Drip University. So what's that about?
So first, well, thank you so much. This opportunity is really something I'm humbled by. I don't see myself as anything particularly significant, and I think for me, the reason I tried my best to share knowledge with people is because I know I got to where I'm at because of the fact that others were willing to share knowledge with me. And there's nothing that pleases me more than seeing people succeed, especially young people, young Zambians out there. So really, Drip is an interesting story. So I saw a guy write, there's a nice picture of Obama wearing a nice jacket, and somebody had written presidential drip. This is like a year ago. And I remember I asked, what is this drip? And I was like, I feel so much like a Bali. I'm still a young person. I'm supposed to know these things. But this guy responds, everything is the Lanky Observer on Twitter. So he writes, he explains what drip was. In this way, he was basically saying it's flavor, it's swagger. But I liked the confidence I saw in the picture. So I took the meaning that I saw of drip and reimagined it as confidence, as harnessing the power of will and really appreciating knowledge. And because for me, drip shouldn't just be about fashion or about looking good. It's about the energy that you project into the world, regardless of whether you're from a poor background or wealthy or whatever. As long as you've got that positive energy, you've got the drip, and you're able to positively impact the world. Now, adding university is a learning institution where people learn knowledge. So capturing drip, which is confidence and all these good things, and creating I would say some sort of learning teaching structure where people are able to learn principles of success, of life. That's the combination of Drip University. So anyone who's subscribed to Drip University by way of following me on Twitter or just listening to the things that I teach is essentially a student of Drip University, and I hope and expect that they come out better people than they previously were.
That's interesting. Actually, I am a student at Drip University. And what I wanted to find out is, I know you're always telling us a few lessons here and there all the time, but what 7 things would you say every student at Drip University should learn?
All right. Now, this I actually had to take a couple notes, so I need to just sort of reflect on them, right? So with one thing, so among the 7 that people, students and the like should learn is self-worth, confidence. I look at that as one thing. So self-worth is really appreciating yourself for what you are, being happy with your skin, being happy with the essence of the individual that you are, the way God made you. And I believe that everyone is special. And the moment that you are appreciative of yourself, it gives you've got a healthy self-esteem. That is necessary as a sort of a person who's oriented around this drip, right? So now the second is having and appreciating the power of empathy and power of love. I feel like something that's lacking in the world around us is people are losing this essence of their connectedness to fellow human beings. I should be concerned about the well-being of somebody who's suffering in a hospital in Kasama, or somebody who's going through depression, or someone who's incapable of fulfilling certain life goals, because I feel that as human beings, we, in our African culture, we've got what we call Ubuntu, which it translates to I am because you are. It's like I am connected to you. Your well-being is connected to my well-being. If there's something wrong with you, I should feel it. Then that's what empathy is about. And the more empathy we have as human beings, it will enable us to, I believe, to succeed, because you create more value for people, and businesses are built around creating value. And I think the world would just be a better place when people have more empathy. So that's the second. The third is the power of networks. You know, by us connecting, we've created a network. You can leverage on me as an individual. I can leverage on you. And the people you meet, you know, I'm not a person who's an expert in engineering or IT, but I'm a finance guy. I'm a guy who appreciates corporate governance. But there are people in my life who are valuable because they teach me certain things. Within my network, there's, you know, people in politics, there's people in economics, and people who sell or in informal markets at Kotondo Street. To me, everyone in this ecosystem matter. And you know, to me, the power of networks is important, and that's what makes a lot of people grow, is appreciating people around you and utilizing these connections. Because at the end of the day, yeah, networks makes things happen. Steve Jobs wouldn't create Apple because, by the way, most of these guys dropped out of university, so they needed to use people who were competent in various things. So using networks is important. Then I'll put the fourth as financial literacy. You know, as a person who's seeking to have this drip, this source, right?
Yeah.
Is that you need to be able to manage money. You know, money, among many things in the Bible, you know, love and other things, Jesus talks a lot about money, you know, and managing it. And the reality is, you know, life is driven. All of the things that we do, there's a transaction from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep, whether it be using your phone, turning on the television, turning on the lights, living in your home where you're paying your rent. There's transactions. So you need money, healthcare, you need food. So you need to manage it, and you need to sustain it long term, and you need to build wealth. I believe that people's potential is not fully realized until they get to a point where they've got certain resources. So let's learn how to manage money. So we have to be financially literate. The fifth is adding value to one's community. You know, I could be, if I were, you know, by the grace of God, I think I've been fortunate to be, you know, brought up in an environment where I went to a decent school and had a decent sort of education, all these things. But there are many people, particularly in our country, who are in environments that are, you know, like has so much struggle, you know, so much suffering, poverty, and the like. And I feel that there's a lot of change agents, people who just want to make their lives, their world better. Whether it be dealing with gender-based violence, dealing with crime, dealing with issues of unemployment or drunkenness, or you name it, whatever problem there is in the community, we should be thinking of how do we work on ways in which we can improve our communities and really take it on as a cause, because at the end of the day, our goal is to make this world better for ourselves and those who follow us later. The sixth would be emotional intelligence. You know, this is something that I get asked about a lot, and I talk about it a lot, because I feel like intelligence is one thing. You could easily articulate, you can understand complex things, but there are people who are incapable or in some other instances very capable of managing themselves emotionally, and this really is where there's a strong level of situational awareness, appreciating circumstances without really being affected by them, but you affecting them. So it's really a presence of mind where you're number one, you're adding value, but you're interpreting things from the perspective of this situation is not happening. Essentially, I shouldn't be a product of this environment. This environment should be a product of me, and that's how people with emotional intelligence think. So, last but not least, which is the seventh point that I believe a DRIP University student should learn and embrace, is the golden rule. And it's as simple as treating others the way you wish to be treated.
So that's nice. So if you're a DRIP University student, these 7 things just have to be on your fingertips. Let me try to say them. So the first thing is self-worth and confidence. The second thing is empathy. Okay, I'll just say those 2. So I've written down the others. So now, apart from learning things, you know, like growing up, you have a set of things that you get to know, you know, as you're growing up. But then as you get older, you realize that some of the things that you knew or that when you were young, they're actually not the right thing.
Absolutely.
So what things at DRIP University should we learn to unlearn?
Absolutely. And that's very important. You know, I love the fact that you mentioned unlearn, because the fact is, as we learn, there's things that have to be replaced within our consciousness. You know, things that we learn, we pick up bad habits as well as good. But the reality is, for us to embrace this good, we need to sort of take out the bad. And the first thing I can say we need to unlearn is retrogressive cultural beliefs. I can give you an example of some elements of, let's say, the manner in which the patriarchy, you know, the patriarchal view of our society, which is quite heavy, which I believe there should be greater balance. I think it does have it impedes the development of women in various avenues. Though I mean, there's so much value women create in our society, and that should never be overlooked. But I feel that as a culture, we put so much emphasis on obviously men being in charge and so on, and the agenda and sort of mandate of men is really put at the forefront, which I think it doesn't sit well with me. And of course, numerous other things from a cultural perspective that are accepted that I think should not be accepted. I mean, we could go on for quite a bit on that. The second is acceptance of mediocrity. And this is almost dangerous for me to say, because there's people who get comfortable when circumstances are, I guess you can say, let me see here. So let's say where there's a lack of excellence, and people know that excellence is associated with hard work, it's pushing out of your comfort zone. People tend to, when they feel that they might fail, there's a certain confidence saying, look, I don't have to pursue excellence. I'm okay where I'm at. But that results in people not doing things that are extraordinary. I mean, if you look around the world, people are creating rocket ships, private companies. Young people are creating applications that are multi-billion-dollar companies. And if a young Zambian tells you that they're going to do that, a parent will probably say, don't be stupid, go be a doctor. So we need to avoid this mindset of mediocrity. And I think in Zambia we do embrace it, unfortunately, but we should be defiant, and defiance is something I really embrace. The third is fear, and I think it's connected to the second. Is fear. We're so afraid of certain things. We're afraid of expressing ourselves freely. We're afraid of being true to ourselves and really standing out. And these are things that we need to unlearn, is this fear. And I don't know, I think it's our parents telling us from the time we're kids, like, hey, only speak unless you're spoken to, or you can never achieve XYZ because you're a kid, leave it to the elders, and I don't believe in that. So fear is another issue. Now, another thing is a sense of entitlement. I don't think anything comes particularly easily. I think, I believe that if you want to achieve something, go out and get it. Shoot your shot, and don't be entitled. Don't feel like, oh, I deserve success, it should just come to me. There's people out there hustling, struggling, and get in line, push, make it happen, because that's how good things happen. Now, another is conforming to the status quo. It is connected somehow to acceptance of mediocrity, but when you see people moving in one direction, and you believe that this is just the way things should be, I believe, go against the tide. If you feel that society is lacking in this area, but nobody else is doing it, disruption is what comes out of that mindset when you're not conforming to what everyone's doing. If everybody's mediocre, be the guy who's going to be pursuing excellence. By the time people catch on to what you're doing and it's achieving the results, you've changed the status quo, you've raised the bar. And I feel like that's something we certainly need to unlearn. Another point is reservations. We are so reserved. I believe in being out there. It's also connected to fear to a large extent, but our reservations do keep us and hold us back from success. I'm the type of person who, if I see somebody I've been wanting to connect with, whether it be in ShopRite or in the street, I will make an effort to go connect with that person, because I feel like they may play a role in my network. I talked about Drip University student needing to embracing networks, and many people won't do that because of this reserved culture that we have. So it's something I'm definitely always going to do. So, and the last that we need to unlearn is this perception that money is really what makes us. That's what gives us value. Because a lot of people out there, and I've met people who, let's say back, they were struggling, but they really want to make it a point. Have you come across like an old friend who really wants to show you that they've made it? Yeah. They want to show you their car. They want to show you they're doing well. They want to keep up with, with appearances. We have to unlearn that. Yeah. And and it goes back to self-esteem. I don't need to be in a really nice car or have a lot of money to have value to people. And I also don't need to be showing that, even if that's the case in my situation, that I achieve a certain level of success, because these things are decorations, they're not us. The essence of who we are, our soul, is separate from these physical things. And they come and they go. So we need to unlearn this materialism. It's okay to have nice things, but they should not be at the center of how we value ourselves.
Okay, so that's like a lot of stuff that we have to unlearn. Yeah, and I hope you guys have written those things down. I've definitely written these things, and I'm going to read these notes again. So now I want you to tell us about saving. One thing I've noticed in our country is that people are good at saving. Like maybe they just put money in the bank saving or do chilimba, village banking, but they don't really know why they are saving or how they can grow their money. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so first of all, people need to know why they're saving, right? So one is security. One day, we're young, but we're going to get old and we may be incapable of earning a living the way we do now, right? And you'd be surprised how time flies. And, we also want to have certain things. You want to have a certain vehicle, you want to have a certain home, when you have children, you want them to go to good schools. So it's really to have sufficient financial backing that could enable you to do some of the things that enable you to live a good life, right? And that should be the perspective. So when we save, first of all, we need to focus on two things: increasing our income and increasing our savings. And perhaps the last is reducing our expenses and basically paying ourselves first. So extracting at least 15% of our earnings and putting them in savings, and essentially accumulating that to a point where you start doing fixed deposits, earning, interests of 15, thereabout percent, and compounding, which basically means that, what you've saved, you earn interest, and then you reinvest that together with the interest that you earned, and you continue doing that for years, right? And these fixed deposits can run from 6 months to a year. Then you start to graduate. You start doing treasury bills, bonds, maybe later on start acquiring stocks. These are the type of things that people should do, especially young people. Build up a portfolio to essentially aim to be financially free, where you're really making this passive income, where banks are paying you interest because you've put your money in the bank. And there's a reason money is in the bank is because the bank is using that money to lend on to others. They make profit on what they lend, so they need to give you a sort of a percentage of that, and that's what needs to happen.
Okay, that's great. So that's like our financial drip. I'll call it financial drip. So other than that, apart from financial drip and just drip university, I've seen you also do this biblical drip that you do. So I want you to just list for us like maybe 7 principles, biblical principles that drip university students should remember.
Absolutely. Now I'll list these because these are really powerful. I think they are ultimately what really moved me in my life, and I think my life is defined by them. At least I try my best to live by them. But I think anyone who abides by them is very likely to have a fulfilling life and one of success and perhaps financial stability. So I'm going to list them. The first is love thy neighbor. The second, vengeance is his. I don't believe in revenge. I do believe that. Somebody hurts you, leave it to God to sort it out. You reap what you sow. That's the third. It is true. You work hard, and what comes out of it is basically a reflection of how much you've worked. The fourth is blessed is the hand that giveth. It's important that when we succeed, we give, whether it be through knowledge or through finances or whatever the case may be. The fifth is blessed is the one who trusts God. Expect good things to happen in your life down the line, and have no fear that things are going to be off, and I think it keeps your spirits high. The sixth is the power of the tongue. I don't know specifically how it's mentioned in the Bible, but you know that the power of the tongue is what you say comes to life. Your words are powerful, so use them. Last, but certainly not least, is commit all to God, and He will establish your plans. Because really, and this is something I try to do in some cases, I think in all cases where I've done that, even in the plans that haven't worked, when they haven't worked, I know that God's hand was in that not working because there's a better plan down the line that He was really making work. So that's the 7 points of biblical drip.
So that's our biblical drip. I really like the last part about God's hand being even in that not working and all. So thank you so much, Jito, for coming to our YouTube channel, and thanks you guys for watching. So there's one more thing. So we had a giveaway some weeks back. We're supposed to do a t-shirt giveaway. So Jito is going to pick the winner. So what we're going to do is we have the list of comments, right? So we had the first person to comment, the second person, third person, and so on. So Jito is just going to pick a number between 1 and 54. So Jito is going to pick a number between 1 and 54, and whatever number he picks, 2 numbers, because we're giving away 2 t-shirts. So whatever 2 numbers he picks, so it will be that person, the person who commented, maybe if he picks, you can pick a number.
Sure. The first number I'll pick is 22.
22
and 7.
7. So the 7th person and the 22nd person to comment on that YouTube video is going to win a t-shirt. So we're going to check out the name and then just follow us on our Twitter, and then we'll get in touch with you. So thanks so much for watching. So Jito, I want you to tell these people to subscribe, because some people don't listen to me. Maybe if you say it.
You guys,
yes.
This is Sakai. I mean, the knowledge I'm getting from this, and the drip, by the way, is not one way.
Yeah.
I'm consistently learning. So when I listen to your channel, I watch you on YouTube, I follow you on Twitter, I learn so much, and I appreciate what you do, and you guys need to do the same thing.
Yeah. So you guys remember to subscribe. Thanks again for watching. Bye.